know there are many other issues that you would want us to discuss, which I will be here to listen to you later. The other thing I wanted to tell you was the status of where we are as a country. I know many of you read stories in social media, misinformation, disinformation, and everything in between. But just so that you know, I will tell you 5 things. Number 1, our economy. Our economy has, since the last 3 years, the economy has stabilized. Inflation has come down from 9.6 to 4.6 this month. Our dollar exchange rate has strengthened from 165 to now 129, 128. I don't know whether that is good or bad for you guys. Certainly it's good for our economy. Our foreign exchange reserves have grown from about $5.7 billion in 2022 to $12 billion now. It's actually doubled. And therefore we can sort out any dollar issues. There are people who could not remit their earnings to foreign countries. Now they can do it with a lot of ease. So I can confidently tell you that our economy is now stable. For those of you who follow the international financial news, Kenya was among 6 countries that everybody thought was going to default in 2022. In fact, I remember meeting Antonio Guterres, and he was telling me, what will you do, Mr. President, when your country defaults? But the good news is that by God's grace, with all the things that we did in between, cut back on this, removing subsidies on many of the things that were there, of the 6 countries that were billed to default, 5 defaulted, Kenya did not. And if you follow, IMF released a report 3 months ago. Kenya's economy now has passed Ethiopia, has passed Angola. Kenya is now the 6th largest economy in Africa. If you follow news, our Nairobi Securities Exchange was the best security exchange in Africa last year. So I have been to the Nairobi Securities Exchange, I think 5 times, because I wanted to build confidence in the Securities Exchange, because it is one avenue. The capital markets are one avenue that we can use to raise development resources aside from all the other areas. So on the economic front, I am very confident about Kenya's future. The numbers don't lie, they are there. What I am telling you, you can go into any platform and you will find the numbers there. In fact, our governor of Central Bank, Mr. Thuge, was voted the best governor of Central Bank in Africa because of what has been done. So that's on the economic front. So just to allay fears that may be spread by the different media. Number 2 is that we are stabilizing our food security. I know many of you know that in 2022, we had people in the streets with superiors on their heads because the price of unga had gone to 250. Those people have since left just for your information, because we have intervened. We have changed the framework of our approach to the agricultural sector. We've moved away from subsidizing consumption. We moved it to supporting production, reducing the cost of fertilizer, making sure that we have available seeds. We did a big program on making sure that we use data to run government programs. We've registered 7.1 million farmers. We now have data on how many farmers are growing tea, how many farmers are growing sugarcane, how many farmers are doing coffee, avocados, wheat, rice, and we are engaging them on the basis of correct information. We've also digitized all the supply of seeds and fertilizer. Today, you cannot just walk into a shop to buy fertilizer. You have to be a registered farmer because we are subsidizing that fertilizer. Since then, we have removed cartels, brokers and characters who are distorting, our programs. I know you are aware that in one place in Western Kenya, I had to tell some notorious brokers, mambo ni matatu. I don't know whether you remember that. Because they were so incorrigible, so daring, that they had taken hostage a whole sugar sector. Now I can confidently tell you we have brought in the private sector in our sugar industry. I was on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, I was in Western Kenya, in Busia, in Kakamega, in Vihiga, and I can confidently tell you that our sugarcane farmers, for the first time, got bonus last year, and we will have bonus again this year. For the first time in Kenya's history. And we moved our sugar production from about 600 metric tons to 815 metric tons. It is our plan that by next year we will do 1 million tons, and by 2028 we will be a net exporter of sugar from Kenya. And that goes also with coffee. For those of you who have coffee in different parts of Kenya, the prices of coffee had gone up from an average of 60, 70 shillings a kilo. This year we were at 130, 140, 110 at the very least. And we are continuing with the reform of that sector, because initially, the licensing regime facilitated people to engage in curtailing the sector. You found one person is a farmer, he is registered as a broker, he is also registered as a miller, he is also registered as a buyer at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. And therefore, there was an incestuous relationship that undermined farmers. Today, we have straightened that space, and that is why we have better prices of coffee. Same thing with tea and all the other areas. In short, what I can tell you is that we have an import bill, food import bill of about 500 billion Kenya shillings, $4 billion. Just imagine. Every year, importing sugar, edible oil, maize, wheat, rice. So it is my intention to cut down that import bill by 50% by 2027. We want to reduce it by 250 billion Kenyan shillings. And we are on course because this year we reduced the imports of maize by 70%. We reduced the imports of sugar by 80%. We are now working on rice and wheat, and then edible oil is the one on the line. So again, we want to transform the agricultural sector so that instead of us importing 500 billion Kenyan shillings, we should be exporting more. Let me say three final things. You're aware that I did make a commitment on matters to do with health. And I know you know how health operates because now you stay in this country.